Hello, Be Awesome listeners. This is Keeping It Local, Socially Distant, Be Awesome podcast, episode number 64. I don't even know what take we're on with this one. We have been plagued with absolute technical difficulties on this one. And my friend Kris Ventresco from Starlight Photography has been unbelievably patient with all of this, especially where one of the issues was me sounding like Frankenstein. So, Kris, welcome to the podcast first and foremost. Let's hope this thing works.
Yeah, thanks for having me back again.
Boom, we got it. That's a good start right there, my friend. So let's dig right into this thing so that we
got to show off my Be Awesome.
There you go.
Here.
We need to keep this podcast awesome and get to the meat and potatoes before we have any more difficulties. But Starlight Photography, it's in Easton. Give us a little bit of background, what you do, who you serve, and we'll go from there.
All right. So we've been in business since 1980. My dad started it. Fell in love with photography at a very young age in high school. Had a great mentor. Started photographing weddings, and I started following him around on family vacations and just watching and studying the light and watching him work and posing people, and it's truly a passion of mine now. I'm very involved in the Professional Photographers of America and Professional Photographers of Massachusetts. So it's really a lot of fun.
You got to enjoy, just had this thought when you're talking about positioning, you got to really enjoy putting people in those awkward holding positions in different places where they just get all kind of crunched up, and you just move your right hand a little bit more. You don't realize how big that monstrous lobster cracker you got is, and just push it in a little bit or wrap your arm around, and then all of a sudden you're like it's like some form of origami. You must have some interesting ones where it's just you try to get someone in that perfect pose with the perfect light, and it's just like forever to figure out. I'm that guy, by the way. That's like when you get a picture taken, like just a little bit to the right and like doing all that stuff.
Well, there's a lot of technique, and we're constantly studying and attending seminars. And, the way we work is we work very unobtrusively at weddings. We've had couples say, we have amazing photographs and didn't even know you were there, during the ceremony or during the reception. But when it comes to portraiture, you have to be able to work with someone and know the most flattering angles, and we have very casual style photography technique that we go through with each and every client. We like to educate them as well before the session even takes place, so that way they have a little bit of an idea of what to expect come the portrait day, and we make it very easy going for them.
You did Terry and Lindsay Hedrick's wedding, didn't you?
My dad did, yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say if I remember someone of the Ventrescos did it, but you're right. I don't remember seeing you. You or your dad moving around. You guys were sliding around all over the place. If I had to go in and see you, you do a bunch of different things. What are the different services you guys provide?
So we do a lot of family portraiture, high school portraiture. The big thing lately has been high school senior athletes. A lot of the booster clubs with the schools have been hiring us to photograph their seniors. And we have them in their full uniform. And we even have props such as, whatever they use for their sport, whether it be basketballs, footballs, field hockey sticks. And we light them very dramatically, like Sports Illustrated. And the kids have so much fun. They come into it thinking that it's going to be something standard, not so much fun, and they leave wanting more. And we've had parents say the same thing. They're like, we absolutely love their pictures and they look like they're professional athletes. What we do is we light them, we pose them in their stances, and then on certain instances we'll actually cut them out of the backdrop and put them into stadiums that we've photographed in HD, HDR. So it does look three-dimensional and amazing. So that's something that we've been trying to offer to the seniors for a little bit of closure, especially during this time with the pandemic going on. because they, obviously the spring season's been canceled. So we're just trying to give them something to remember all the good times in their games and camaraderie with their teammates.
Yeah, and that's pretty cool stuff. But you've had to retool basically your whole business, right? I mean, I'm sure you've had a bunch of events that have had to cancel or reschedule, social distancing, even though, like, you think about it, the average distance between a photographer and where you're taking the picture is definitely more than 6 feet. There's still some of those instances where there's that close interaction. So you've had a whole bunch of different things happen over the last 8 weeks that continue to evolve. I mean, every day that goes on that we're not at phase 1 in Massachusetts, or phase 2 or phase 3 or phase 4 is another day we're pushed out to potentially not having, one of these events that you photograph. The Mass Q event, like, I sit here and I'm thinking about that. I don't know if you still do that event, but where you first did work with me over 10 years ago at Gillette Stadium, that event's in October. I mean, are they going to be able to have that? But what are some of the things that you've had to kind of, what are some of the things that you're doing to keep moving forward and to keep in touch and in tune with your customers, along with things like the high school, virtual showings, or, moving dates, or what are some of the things that you're offering and trying to help out folks while keeping business going?
Yeah, I actually have a spreadsheet going now that I compiled last week of all the weddings that we had scheduled for this year, and I have a date change for their wedding, and I have a tentative date. We're just working with the couples as much as we can to reschedule. So many of our couples have already rescheduled till, say, August from their April weddings. But if we come up to that date where, Governor Baker's still saying no, they already have their backup date on top of that. So a lot of them are scheduling towards next year just to be on the safe side, but I feel horrible for them because they're having to wait that much longer.
Right.
So, but we've been working with them,
especially if there's meaning behind it. Like if there's some 2020 date or some, like, 2020, I mean, one of the months, and then 2020, that makes it tough, 11, but thank God it's not that year or anything. But I mean, that I kind of see if there's a, meaningful date for me is Friday the 13th. And, those only happen so often. So definitely can get that. So you're doing multiple dates?
Yeah, and coincidentally, it's the strangest thing, but we just got 3 inquiries for 8/21/21. So I'm still trying to figure that one out. All within 24 hours, 3 inquiries. Wow.
I wonder what that no one says what that signifies, huh?
No.
You got to ask them. I mean, you got to be like,
hey, I know.
I got to pick one of you, or two of you. So one person's not going to win. So I need to know what the compelling answer to 8/21/21 is. That's interesting.
Yeah. But I've been reaching out to all of our clients, whether it be, our families, our business partners too, because we've gotten inquiries still for our business portraits. It is one-on-one, but we're keeping the social distancing and trying to do them outdoors, so that way we keep everything safe. But we've had to transition quite a bit, and just reaching out and our clients that really appreciate just a quick email or a phone call, just saying, hi, hopefully your family's doing well, during this time, and they're safe and healthy. So.
Yeah, I got to tell you, I think that that's a huge opportunity right now because, unfortunately, we're going to experience the worst unemployment if we haven't already hit it since the Great Recession, or worse than the Great Recession, or depression, or recession and depression, and put them all together. I mean, it's bad, right? And hopefully, when the economy starts to open back up, I mean, a lot of that is, our food service and retail and other folks that they're just closed. But there's definitely professional industry in tech sector that's experienced a lot of layoffs. So having professional headshots to put on their LinkedIn page or put with their resume, or, put on their website. A lot of people going into consulting. I'm sitting here going, man, I'd love to do a photo shoot for my new website. Put some spots where I'm doing some speaking and have you guys come out. Got to be a great opportunity for you to be doing that. One of the things before I forget, just so that it's highlighted, I'm not sure if I caught it. You're doing a special for seniors where you're waiving a fee. You still doing that?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
So the session fee for it's called our Game On session, and it's a session just like the Sports Illustrated, the editorial type photographs, and it's typically $125 for the session fee, but we're waiving that, and then we're giving them a once in a lifetime type photo shoot, where it's very similar lighting and composition, and we have them in their stances and creating those action shots that they'll definitely remember, and hopefully brings a little bit of closure to having the spring season canceled.
Yeah, and that's huge. I can't. I'm going to have some younger folks on the podcast in upcoming weeks to get their perspective on, missing out on the back half of their school year and kind of how they're feeling and weathering all this stuff. I can't imagine being a senior in high school or a senior in college, closing one chapter and going to another and missing out on that stuff. So good for you guys for doing that, and making that available for folks at a discounted rate. So you're doing the distance professional headshots, you're rebooking. Mark Lombardi from Easton Country Club told me the other day he's doing 3 dates. He's given 3 opening dates for people to be as accommodating as possible to tie all that in, which is really, really great. People are still going to get married. This thing, this is the thing we got to remember. People are still going to get remarried. People are still going to have parties and banquets and functions where they need photographers. If you were to just to think about this, because people are going to be shopping, and put your consumer hat on, but you have this level of expertise. What are 3 or 4 or 5 things that anybody that's looking for a professional photographer, should, for me, valid impartial references when I'm doing business with people? Like I want to have valid impartial references that people aren't on the take on something. I want some historical information of the business. I want, there's like things that I look for when I'm talking to folks. What would be a couple of things? I'm getting married, thinking about a photographer. What would you say are like the top things that you should look for to make sure that things go smoothly and you have a good experience? Because you can't get that experience back, right? You get the pictures, you got to take those shots, and then that's it.
You really you have to feel comfortable with the person, because you're going to be with that photographer for the entire day. You want to make sure that your personalities match, and where we constantly reach out to our couples. We offer an engagement session as part of our full service packages for their wedding day, so that way they get to kind of get an idea of how I work, and we have a lot of fun doing it. So the number one thing is, strongly feel that you have to be comfortable with that person. But you also want to look at education, because as a professional, like I had mentioned earlier, we're constantly studying and keeping up with the techniques, and it's constantly changing. We have a very unique style. We do obviously the traditional pictures. So, the bride with her mom, the bride with her dad, the bride with her mom and dad. But we really create the moments after those photographs are taken. I'll say, oh, guys, I want, the bride and her mom and dad. I say, guys, squeeze them really close, looking at each other. And then you get all the chuckles and things like that. You're creating those expressions and the emotions. So that's one big thing and that's all through education, and really being a people person. So that is a huge part of the wedding photography, is obviously make sure that you're comfortable with them. Second of all, check into the education, really take a look at the photographer's work, the lighting, the composition, and making sure that people don't look awkward.
And I know I had this talk with your dad years ago about, the importance of price integrity. And I'm sure that people are always trying to talk about, you know, pricing and you know, negotiating and everything else. It's one of those things you know, I like I say, I told you Dad 10, 12 years ago when he did the photo shoot with Danny and my grandmother, you know, it wasn't cheap. It wasn't, you know what, but that picture is in our hallway to this day. That is a day of memory that we can look at and be like, hey, remember that day we went and took these pictures and you guys had matching shirts and da 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 da. I mean, the value of that is fantastic. So, you know, one of the things that I always say is like going into this with realistic expectations of what you're willing to invest in and what you have, like opposed to unrealistic expectations of getting, you know, multiple $1,000 event for what you would want to put disposable cameras on a table. And there's nothing wrong with that, by the way. I actually had one of the coolest wedding experiences when I sat down at the table. There was a disposable camera for every attendee, and they just and all they wanted, and it was just the way that they wanted the wedding. It wasn't that they wanted to be as formal. They wanted to be relaxed. They wanted action photos. They want everything. So just what your expectations of what you want for your result to be.
Yeah, I mean, I always tell our clients too, you know, we're not just selling a piece of paper. We're creating those memories. That's something that you're going to have to pass generation to generation. You know, I'm always looking at my grandparents' wedding albums, you know, and those pictures have lasted a long time. My parents have pictures from my mom from when she grew up in Portugal. Always looking at those pictures. My dad's side is all from Italy, and you know, some of these pictures have lasted hundreds of years, and they've been passed on. So that's one thing that I'm a true believer in is creating those memories and something that you can pass on from generation to generation.
Do you guys still give photo albums?
Oh yeah.
Do you really?
Yeah. Photo albums are included in all of our wedding packages. There are packages that don't include it. But as far as portraiture as well, that's been a popular item because, you know, they're getting all the photographs from their portrait session. They're having them laid out, graphically designed, really custom albums for them to remember that session by. So I high believer on that. So
yeah, well, you know, growing up, I'm an old man. I'm, you know, mid going into late 40s based on the looks of my beard. And when I was growing up, we had photo albums in the house, and like people would come over, and especially like my mother always had like this flip chart photo album of when I was a baby, and apparently I didn't like to wear clothes, so they were all my naked baby pictures running around the house, and you know, oh, let me show you these, and but we always had photo albums around the house, and ever since the creation of the iPhone or the digital camera on your phone, you don't see those that often. But there's something really cool about just turning that page and that piece of paper with a photo on it that's really kind of powerful. And I think that there was I mean, I've got like 36,000 pictures on my phone, right? I don't look at 12 of them. But if you have a photo album with 100 pictures, you take the time to look at those, and those are real memories. Like those are ingrained in your head. Like when you look at it, like I'll look at a picture when I was 4 flying a kite, and that just brings me back to when I was 4. Yet I can't look at a picture I took 6 days ago and remember why the hell I took it. So that's great that you guys do the photo albums though.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's one thing I preach because, you know, by having phones storing all the pictures, you know, so much can happen to your phone, your hard drive, your computer. You know, you could lose everything all in an instant. When we go on vacation right after that trip, we print them right away and place them into an album.
Cool. So yeah, that's a good idea. I actually don't print anything. We lost a bunch of pictures when Amy was pregnant with Chance, which was devastating. We were able to recover a couple of them, but yeah, that's that once it's gone digital, it's gone. And I've got, you know, I've got multiple cloud storage things now to backdrop it, but still it'd be good to just print them out and put them someplace. So no, that's good advice. So you know, how do people get a hold of you? What are you doing right now for bookings? You know, what are you looking at for, you know, someone wants to get their picture taken for being a senior? What's the lead time they need to give you? Any of that information and all your contact and any additional stuff you're providing. I'd like that senior program.
Yeah, they can certainly reach out to us via phone, 508-238-6950. Our website is starlightphotographyonline.com. They can reach out to me via email at kris.ventresco@gmail.com. And as far as bookings go, it is filling up quickly. People are still thinking about having their portrait taken. They've been tired of being cooped up in the house for the past few months. So we are scheduling for June and July and August for portrait sessions, and we're just waiting for word from Governor Baker that we can start utilizing parks and find out what all the mandates are, so that way we can take proper precautions. But we are still scheduling sessions for when things open up. So
very good. Well, I got to tell you, you did the photographs for the Eastern Chamber of Commerce Business Appreciation Night. You did a phenomenal job photographing the whole night with one or two shots of me, and you figured out how to find my moderately good side, which I greatly appreciate. But I really appreciate the work that you put, not just in your photography and the work that you're doing at Starlight, but the work you're doing in the community to try to help everybody that you can, not just during these challenging times. You've been a board member for Eastern Chamber of Commerce for many years. I've watched you grow up, and your commitment to the community is nothing short of stellar, even during good times. But it's when the bad times hit that really shows people's true colors, and you're still there, and you're going to be there when the dust settles. So, really appreciate everything that you're doing. It does mean a lot, and a lot of times it goes unnoticed and unappreciated. So thank you, sir, for doing all that. You're a big reason why I'm on the chamber and what I'm doing. So appreciate you. So keep snapping those shots. And like I say, we might have to talk offline about doing something to get some semi-professional photos on my website, because I don't think I have too many of those. And I think I need to step up my professional website game. So that'll do it. This is actually going to have some editing, so this is going to be tried, true, tested. We did have 2 or 3 freezes in here. I'm going to let Kris work his magic. I'm going to give him this recording and let him work his magic, so you can see how he tied this thing together. And I'll put the original out there so you can see how nice it sounds different from it. But I really appreciate you, my friend. Thanks for the support with the shirt, and stay safe out there with all the things that you're doing, taking those pictures for folks.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Josh.
Well, if I can have you again, I'd gladly do it in a heartbeat. It's only been four takes, so we got to kill. But that'll do it for episode 64. This has been a crazy 8 weeks, 61 days, and I'm still wearing pants with an elastic band. I don't know if my pants fit. This has been definitely a challenging, trying, difficult, exciting time for all of us. Hopefully you get some good feelings to offset some of these challenging and hard feelings. God knows I have them too. So it's not all roses and rainbows by any stretch of the imagination, but doing this together with a lot of incredible people is what makes us all worth doing and continuing to do, and continuing to show the great people. Because if we get caught up with the news and the garbage out there and the noise, we get depressed real fast. So stay the course. We'll get through this. We're one day closer to getting to the other side of it. As I've stated, we just started selling face coverings. I'm in the face covering and t-shirt business here. So if you want to buy a t-shirt, anything on our store online right now, until our 2-year anniversary, which is June 21st, is $24.99 for t-shirts. I've got a couple of super awesome 1-year anniversary shirts. We did a full inventory. We found a handful of those. When those are gone, those are gone. We only made 100 of them. So that's $24.99. The Be Awesome shirt that Kris is modeling right now, that's $24.99. We typically charge shipping and handling, but 50% of the purchases over the last 2 weeks have been in my own town, where I get to go and drive around and drop them off. So shipping and handling, there is no charge for that. And we're doing face coverings. Pre-order, we're going to ship them by May 17th. They're nylon spandex. They're flexible. They flip over your ears. You get the flap, and they're black with our logo on them. Those are $10. no shipping and handling for those, and we're taking pre-orders now. So really appreciate your support. That's really the source of revenue that we have coming in, and that's okay. We're gonna rip through this thing, get back to some form of normalcy, and get back to public speaking and keynotes, and maybe monetizing YouTube and my podcast at some point. But it's all because of what you guys do, that what gives me the opportunity to do what I do every day, and I keep bringing great people on board. So in the meantime, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, I'm kind of good at, moderately okay. LinkedIn. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. I need to really get to 1,000 subscribers before YouTube even looks at me as a viable source of advertising and to monetize my channel at all. So if you could subscribe to those, like, comment, share. If you've got criticism, critique, suggestions, ideas, thoughts, email me, josh@beawesome.com. That's JOSH@BEAUSM as in Mary.com. And I will respond to you as quick as humanly possible. Thank you so much for everyone for listening. This has been an interesting time. And remember, to do awesome, you got to be awesome.